Hello everyone and welcome to today's video discussion. Today, we will be delving into the case of 6 personalities who was granted executive clemency. We will explore the crime they committed, the judgment of case in their sentence, and the reason why they qualified for executive clemency. Executive clemency is a power vested in the President of the Philippines under Article 7, Section 19 of the Philippine Constitution. It allows the President to grant reprieves, commutations, and pardons, and remit fines and forfeitures after conviction by final judgment. The first person we choose who was granted executive clemency is Gregorio Gringo Honasan. Gregorio Gringo Honasan is a former military officer and a senator in the Philippines. In 1995, he was involved in a coup attempt or coup d'etat against the government of President Corazon Aquino. The crime he committed was leading an armed rebellion against the government, which resulted in multiple casualties and widespread unrest. Honasan was subsequently arrested and faced trial for his involvement in the coup attempt. He was found guilty of rebellion and was sentenced to life imprisonment. The decision to grant executive clemency to Gregorio Honasan was based on several factors. Firstly, it was considered that Honasan had already served a significant portion of his sentence and had shown good behavior during his incarceration. Additionally, there were efforts towards national reconciliation and peace building in the country, which factored into the decision to grant clemency. In 1998, President Fidel V. Ramos granted executive clemency to Gregorio Honasan, effectively commuting his life sentence. This decision allowed Honasan to re-enter public life and eventually serve as a senator in the Philippines. And that concludes on Gregorio Honasan's case.
Joseph Estrada, A Story of Power, Plunder, and Pardon. Joseph Estrada, the 13th President of the Philippines, walked a path paved with both immense popularity and a controversial conviction. This story, marked by both plunder and pardon, remains a complex and debated chapter in the nation's history. Crime committed. In 2007, after a lengthy trial, the Sandigan Bayan, the Philippines Anti-Graft Court, found Estrada guilty of plunder. He was accused of amassing an estimated 80 million pesos through illegal gambling, payoff, and kickbacks from tweeting an illegal numbers game. This verdict sent shockwaves through the nation, shaking the political landscape and tarnishing Estrada's once immaculate image. Judgment and sentence. The gravity of the crime led to a harsh punishment. Estrada was sentenced to reclusion perpetua, the equivalent of life imprisonment in the Philippines. This marked a dramatic fall from grace for the once beloved Erap, as he was affectionately known by his supporters. Seeking clemency. Despite the conviction, Estrada maintained his innocence and appealed the verdict. He also sought a different form of justice. Executive clemency, this power vested in the President, allows for the reduction or even complete cancellation of a sentence. Clemency granted. In October 2007, after a month of public debate and political maneuvering, then President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo granted Estrada absolute pardon. This meant his sentence was nullified and he was released from detention. Reasons for clemency. Several factors were cited as influencing Arroyo's decision. Estrada's advanced age, 70 at the time, his deteriorating health, and his commitment to no longer seek public office were all presented as justification. Additionally, Estrada's popularity among his base remained strong, and Arroyo may have faced political pressure to appease his supporters. Controversy and criticism. The pardon was met with mixed reactions. While some saw it as an act of compassion and recognition of Estrada's past service, others condemned it as a blatant disregard for justice and betrayal of the Filipino people's trust. Critics argued that the pardon sent a dangerous message condoning corruption and undermining the fight against corruption. Estrada's post-clemency life. Although stripped of his political rights, initially, Estrada eventually regained them in 2013. He remained active in public life, serving as a mayor of his hometown and even running for president again into 2016, albeit unsuccessfully. Legacy of Estrada's clemency. Whether the pardon was just act or a political move continues to be debated. However, it undeniably remains a significant chapter in the Philippine history, raising questions about the power of executive clemency, the complexities of justice, and the enduring influence of one powerful figure. Estrada's story serves as a reminder that even the most celebrated individuals can fall from grace, and that the line between forgivenesses and impunity can be blurry. It also highlights the delicate balance between upholding the rule of law and considering individual circumstances. A challenge that continues to confront leaders and societies around the world.
Juan Ponce Enrile. Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, a prominent Filipino politician and former senator of the Philippines, was granted executive clemency by President Benigno Aquino III in the year 2015. At the time, Enrile was facing charges of plunder in connection with the Priority Development Assistance Fund or PDAF scam, a corruption scandal involving lawmakers and the misuse of public funds. President Aquino granted Enrile's clemency on humanitarian grounds, citing Enrile's old age and health conditions as the primary reason. Enrile was 91 years old at the time and he had health issues that required medical attention. As a result of executive clemency, Enrile was released from detention, and the charges against him were later dismissed in 2016. The decision to grant Enrile's clemency generated controversy and drew mixed reaction from the public, raising concerns about fairness and transparency in the justice system. Jovito Plameras Jr. Jovito Plameras Jr. From Graft to Second Chance. Jovito Plameras Jr., the first elected governor of Antique Province in the Philippines, carved a complex legacy. While he championed development initiatives, his story also became entangled with a graft conviction and the subsequent grant of executive clemency. Crime committed. In the year 2008, Plameras was found guilty of graft by the Sandigan Bayan, the anti-graft court. He was accused of using his position to award 30 million pesos worth of road construction projects to unqualified contractors without proper bidding and procedure, causing undue disadvantage and prejudice to the government. Judgment and sentence. The Sandigan Bayan sentenced Plameras to a minimum of 6 years and 1 month, up to maximum of 10 years in prison. He was also perpetually disqualified from holding public office. This verdict was a major blow to Plameras' political career and personal standing. Seeking clemency. Plameras appealed the decision but faced an uphill battle. His advanced age and deteriorating health coped with his public service record, become key points in his plea for leniency. He expressed remorse and maintained the project delay were unintentional, emphasizing the positive outcomes from province infrastructure. Conditional pardon in the year 2016. After years of appeals, President Rodrigo Duterte granted Plameras a conditional pardon in year 2016. This meant Plameras would be released from the prison but would have to fulfill certain conditions, including repaying the 2.65 million pesos in damages to the government. Reason for clemency. Plameras' age and health were significant factors in the decision. He suffered a stroke and paralysis, raising concern about his ability to withstand imprisonment. Additionally, he had already served a portion of his sentence and demonstrated remorse by taking responsibility for his actions. Repayment and redemption. Plameras diligently complied with the pardon's conditions, repaying the full amount to the government. He also continued to engage in community development projects, albeit outside of an official capacity. While opinions on his clemency remained divided, he maintained a focus on contributing positively to a community. Passing away with pardon, in year 2018, Plameras passed away at the age of 83. His stories serve as continually tale about the consequence of public corruption, but also highlights the political for redemption and the nouns consideration involved in the executive clemency. Joseph Scott Pemberton. Joseph Scott Pemberton, a controversial case of crime, clemency, and justice. Joseph Scott Pemberton, a former U.S. Marine, became entangled in a highly controversial case that ignited tension between the Philippines and the United States. In the year 2014, while stationed in Olongapo City as part of Visiting Forces Agreement or VFA, he was convicted of killing Jennifer Laude, a Filipina transgender woman. Crime committed. On October 11, 2014, Pemberton met Laude at a bar and brought her back to his hotel room. After discovering Laude was transgender, Pemberton choked her and drowned her in a toilet bowl. He then fled the scene, attempting to hide evidence and leave the country. Judgment and sentence. In the year 2015, a Philippine court found Pemberton guilty of homicide, sentencing him to 6 to 12 years imprisonment. The verdict sparked protest and outrage in the Philippines, demanding justice for Laude and criticizing the perceived special treatment of U.S. servicemen under the VFA. Executive clemency. In a surprising turn of events, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte granted Pemberton absolute pardon in the year 2020, citing good conduct and humanitarian reasons. This decision drew widespread condemnation from Laude's family, LGBTQ+ advocates, and human rights groups. They argued that Pemberton did not deserve leniency and that his release undermined the fight for justice and equality. Reasons cited for executive clemency. Good conduct. Pemberton supporters claim he displayed exemplary behavior during incarceration, participating in rehabilitation programs, and expressing remorse. Humanitarian reasons. Some argued Pemberton's young age at the time of the crime and supposed mental health issues warranted leniency. Geopolitical considerations. Duterte's administration pointed toward improved U.S. and Philippine relations and potential economic benefits as factors influencing the pardon. Criticism of the clemency. Critics argued that good conduct in prison couldn't erase the gravity of crime. They questioned the sincerity of remorse expressed years after their murder and highlight inconsistency in Pemberton's statements. Granting clemency based on mental health concerns without proper evaluation was seen as dismissive and disrespectful to Laude's life. Underlying criticism was the perception that Pemberton's received preferential treatment due to his U.S. citizenship, perpetuating an equal justice system. The case of Joseph Scott Pemberton remains a complex and consistent issue. While some view that the pardon as a compassionate act or a pragmatic political decision, others see it as a miscarriage of justice that perpetuates impunity and undermines the fight for LGBTQ+ rights. The debate surrounding his case continues to highlight the ongoing struggle for equality and justice in the Philippines and the delicate geopolitical dynamics between nations.
Robin Padilla, from conviction to clemency. Robin Padilla, a prominent Filipino actor and a politician, has led a life marked by both immense popularity and legal troubles. His story, intertwined with executive clemency, offers a glimpse into the complexities of justice and redemption. The crime committed. In 1994, Padilla was arrested for illegal possession of firearms, a serious offense in the Philippines. He was caught with several high-powered guns, igniting public concern and leading to his conviction. The judgment and sentence. The court found Padilla guilty and sentenced him to a significant prison term. While the exact duration remains unclear, it was likely several years. However, he served only a portion of his sentence before being released on the conditional pardon in 1997 by the President Fidel B. Ramos. Reason for clemency. Padilla's journey towards clemency was multifaceted. He demonstrated a genuine remorse by publicly apologizing and actively participating in rehabilitation programs. He also used his platforms to raise awareness against gun violence, showcasing a commitment to positive change. Absolute pardon in 2016. Years later, in 2016, President Rodrigo Duterte granted Padilla an absolute pardon, restoring his full civil and political rights. This decision sparked debate, with some lauding it is a second chance for a reformed individual, while others criticize it is a preferential treatment for a celebrity. Beyond the pardon. Regardless of the controversy, Padilla's story highlights the potential of rehabilitation and the power of executive clemency. It serves as a reminder that even those who stumbled can find redemption through genuine efforts to make amends and contribute positively to society. The Padillas owes clemency in life. Following his absolute pardon, Padilla re-entered the political arena and was elected senator in 2022. He continues his career in acting and actively advocates for various social causes. His journey remains a subject of discussion, but undoubtedly underscores the intricate dance between justice, forgiveness, and the power of second chance.